Hello everyone and welcome to the drive for... We could make some like football chant about him. Kimi Antonelli likes his tagliatelle. He talks like a villain.
Like Dracula.
Yeah, he did. No, Helmut Marko looks like Dracula.
Yeah, he does look like
He
Dracula.
was in the background like this. And Bellotti, I don't know how you say his name.
Belletto, I think, but
But then the car, then we thought it was done, and then the car went back up for like the 2 minutes.
Just stood there.
And we were like, oh my God, is this ever going to end? Hello everyone and welcome to the Drive to Thrive podcast. Today we're doing our first episode ever for this podcast. It's our little passion project. I'm one of your hosts, Kyle.
Danielle.
And today we want to do a bit of a recap of the livery launch from last night. We want to talk about why we're starting this podcast, what we're excited for this year, and hopefully go into some more tidbits of what we're going to do throughout this season. First of all, I thought it'd be a good idea to give it a bit of a kind of overview of ourselves, why we're interested in the sport and why we started this podcast. And then, we can dip straight into the main bits about talking about the livery, what are our thoughts, what do we think about the teams, etc., hopefully going forwards. So personally from me, I got into F1 probably F1's been a big part of my life probably for a long time. Ever since I was a little kid, I remember watching my granddad watching the F1 in the front room. It was like, for him, it was one of these special things where, like, if you're going to make a nuisance, don't be in the front room. You're going to get kicked out because it's kind of focus time. Serious Sundays. And it's still like that a little bit today. We kind of get together with my granddad sometimes, or we watch it together. And we make a bit of an event of it, basically. We get nibbles and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. It's something that gets the family together. And me, really, I really kind of invested my interest in F1 probably like the last 5 years. It was nothing linked with the whole Hamilton rise to 7 world champions or that. It was all before all that stuff. So, I've been to only one race so far. I know that's quite a privilege already, but I've been to one race, which was Silverstone. Hopefully going to Silverstone again this year. And then maybe we've got some things planned that we want to do in the future. Yeah. Hopefully attend some more races. That's kind of my little bit. We started this podcast because we know that this year is going to be a monumental year. It's got potential to be a historic year. And
also because we spend all of our free time talking about F1 anyway.
Exactly, yeah.
So we thought we might as well.
We both got creative sparks. This is a creative outlet, and hopefully it's going to be a fun journey and you can join us too.
And a really epic season. I think this is lined up to be one of the best seasons ever.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think it'll be better than 2021. I mean, obviously 2021 was traumatic, but
there's so many things that are aligning. It's the last year of regulations, so all of the cars are going to be super close together in terms of how they are on the grid and their performance. We already saw last year that there was so much kind of closeness between McLaren, Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull. You could argue some of the others might be close, and hopefully this year...
And within the teams themselves.
Exactly. And then on top of this year, not only that, we've got so many rookies coming in this year, which could cause absolute havoc. We could have some more Latifis or whatever. But Danielle, do you want to talk about...
You also have forgotten to shout out Fastlane Club.
Oh, yeah. So...
I think we need an honourable mention for where we're hosting the podcast from. So shout out to Fastlane Club, who have kindly let us use their facilities. Yep.
So Fastlane Club, we can probably put a link in the show note captions. You can check it out. It's for all motorsport enthusiasts. This lovely facility is where we're going to sit today. Hopefully we can use it for all of our podcast episodes.
Yeah. So a little bit about me. So I remember, like Kyle, F1 was always on a Sunday, but when I was little, I didn't really care that much about it. I just wanted to watch it because Lewis was dating Nicole Scherzinger, and I was obsessed with the Pussycat Dolls. So when I was like really little girl, I remember Lewis's first season at McLaren. And I remember seeing Nicole and being like, this looks really glamorous. And then I didn't really watch it for a few years when I was a teenager and when I was at uni, mainly because you kind of need Sky Sports in this country to be able to watch the coverage properly. Yeah. And obviously when you're a student, you can't afford that. And then in COVID, my parents gave me their Sky Go password. And obviously in COVID, nothing really was happening. So I just became obsessed, and I would watch it from like free practice 1 on a Friday right through until like Ted's Notebook on a Sunday. And that just became my religion, really. And almost at the same time, I was getting so invested and spending so much time watching it. My younger siblings were too. So my siblings are quite a bit younger than me, but F1 is the one thing that brings our whole family together. And it's our one like common interest. So I really value that we are all connected and we can all talk about it. We largely support the same people as well, so it doesn't cause too many arguments. I mean, obviously, I'm much more of a Lewis fan than anything else, and my siblings are much more Lando fans. I mean, still love Lando, but so yeah, it doesn't cause too many rivalries or arguments in the house. But I just really enjoy that we can all watch it together and enjoy the sport. And I'm just honestly obsessed with all the drama. I profess I don't know a lot about the mechanics, which I'm hoping, Kyle, you can lean into and you can offer that kind of analysis on this pod. But I just watch it for the tactics, the show, the drama on and off track. I love all the commentators and all their takes on it. I also love like the social media side of it and all the different accounts and other podcasts and other influencers that are coming up, and I just find it's becoming a much more inclusive sport. And obviously people might say that I'm from like the Drive to Survive era, but I don't think I am really, because I always remember looking knowing who Lewis was and being obsessed with it from a young age, but I didn't really appreciate the sportsmanship behind it. I just appreciated the show, where now I'm invested in it now, and I think I've only been to one race myself, so I went to Monza last year. I was meant to go to Imola in 2023, but obviously it got rained off, which I was absolutely so upset. But then at the same time, I was already in Italy, so I just drank Aperols for the whole weekend and ended up going to Maranello to see the Ferrari factory, which I wouldn't have got a chance to do. So that was really cool. But I would love to go to more F1 races, and I think we should probably touch on this topic in the future with how inaccessible they really are. And like even for fans, I feel
even more now with Drive to Survive. Pumping the popularity.
It's not really, the tickets are there, but it's just the price of the tickets and the weekends. Like,
yeah.
I feel very privileged to be able to have gone to Monza and had quite a good seat, but I know a lot of people don't have that opportunity. So, we can definitely offer different viewpoints, but also we have a lot of common interests and appreciate a lot of the same drivers and the same storylines. So yeah, we're just going to delve into the season, and hopefully it'll be spicy as hell, and we'll be able to bring you along for the ride.
Yeah. So just to add one extra thing on there that I kind of forgot to say in mine, one of the things that really, really, really got me invested in the sport as well is the F1 Fantasy League. And I don't know if any of our listeners right now do the F1 Fantasy League, and there's more to come about what we want to do with that. But I used to be an avid, let's just follow Lewis Hamilton. Where is he at? If he's not winning this race, it's a boring race kind of thing. That's how I was like 5 years ago. But in all honesty, once the F1 Fantasy thing became a thing and I got invested in that, I actually started looking at the rest of the field, because I wanted my drivers that were in my team to do better.
Yeah, that's very true.
So I was paying more attention to the drivers, and then that's where my interest really kind of grew in a sense, and the interest in the tactics, because I was like, what is Haas doing here?
Yeah.
And before I was just like, all right, Lewis Hamilton's fourth, now he's first, great.
Yeah.
But now it's like, oh my God, Zhou Guanyu is overtaking someone.
Yeah.
That's because he swapped tyres,
anymore.
And that's where it kind of, not anymore. Hopefully, maybe again in the future, because I quite like him. But yeah, so hopefully we'll do something with the F1 Fantasy League this year with you guys, and we can get your interest hopefully up there as well, and get you avid fans if you're not that into it that much yet. But hopefully if you listen to this, you probably are a super fan.
Yeah, I do appreciate F1 Fantasy, but I kind of lost patience with it, because in 2022 I refused to put Max in my team because of what happened in Abu Dhabi. I mean, we won't dwell on that. We're not going to talk about that. But I just refused to do it. And then obviously we had a fantasy league in my family, and I was last because obviously Max won every single race bar like one. So yeah, since then I think last year was more interesting, and I think I came fourth out of like 6 maybe, or fifth. I still did pretty bad, but it's definitely gets you watching like lower down the field, doesn't it? Yeah, and appreciate like when people still 1 point here and 1 point there.
So
let's get to it.
You're the boss. What are we talking about today then?
Well, I think a good place to start obviously is the livery launch, which was last night. So we've watched it a few times on YouTube, haven't we?
Yep.
And made our own mental notes. So I think a lot of F1 fans, whether they are Drive to Survive fans or avid fans from back in the day, were all apprehensive about this event. We didn't know what to expect. We thought it would just be, you know,
Big
for
show.
money, a big
Yeah.
show, like Las Vegas on steroids, kind of
Mhm.
Hunger Games vibe. That's what I was picturing in my head.
Yep.
No one really wanted to be there. No one was interested. The crowd was full of influencers, and it was just going to be a bit a money-making scheme, basically. But
Probably still made a lot of money.
yeah, but I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I don't know if they need to do it every year.
No.
I get why they did it for the 75th anniversary, but
Yeah.
I thought it was actually really well put together. There were parts of it where it was just a bit like, oh,
Long, like,
yeah.
okay.
Some of the
I
teams
switched off a
got
couple
their
of
7
times.
minutes wrong. I think some
Got
of the
their what?
because each team had a 7-minute slot,
Oh, right. Yeah.
and
yeah.
I think some of the teams didn't like quite hit the mark with their
the steak
slot
felt like it was forever.
because they didn't know what to do, did they? They'd never done anything like this before. Some of them were really good. So, but I think the event on the whole, I really enjoyed it from a viewer's perspective. I thought Jack Whitehall was great. Like some of his jokes actually cracked me up. It wasn't cringe.
I was saying to you, like, when he came on the screen, I actually rolled my eyes. I was like, oh God.
Here we go.
They've got someone who's not
It's gonna be
even
Brit Awards
F1.
for
He's not even
yeah.
F1, he's never been around F1 so far as I know.
Yeah.
But
I don't even
clearly,
think I've seen him on a race on like the pit or anything.
I might have seen him on,
grid.
I think I might have seen him on a grid walk once, maybe. But still, like, I think he even said it in some of his jokes, like he didn't know much about F1 in a sense. But obviously all the jokes were pre-planned, but the jokes were still great.
Yeah, they were.
The Mike Crack one was
I don't
my
know why
favorite.
you liked that.
Because I'm a kid, I'm a little boy in my mind,
Yeah.
and obviously Mike Crack jokes are just funny.
I really liked the joke where he was talking to Lando and he made a joke about going to Quick Fit over the break because obviously the infamous moment when one of Lando's friends crashed his F145 Ferrari, is it? You know, the real
F40.
Yeah, F40, the Ferrari that Lewis posed with.
Did he do it in Monaco? Is it the one that was in Monaco?
Yeah, someone crashed it. Which,
Yeah.
that was hilarious. I liked how he went straight into Max and was like, Max really wants to be here, and Max was just there like,
Not,
and then
not
everyone was
wanting to be
booing
there.
him, which I thought was a bit awkward.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest boo of the night was for Christine Horner, which are you
Horner
surprised?
or FIA?
I think Horner, you know.
I think so.
Yeah.
Horner.
Yeah, I think Red Bull with Horner and Max Verstappen, the O2 in London's the wrong place to have them on stage, which is a shame. But
I mean, Max, we always keep saying it, don't we? Max is a driver to be a driver. He's not there for the... Not all the drivers are there for the glitz and glam either. Some
of
do
them are
like
showmen,
it. Some
like
some
Lewis,
are revel in it. But Max just wants to get out there and race.
Yeah.
See that with his sim racing. He'll stay up late. He's just that's
took it
all
like a champ,
he lives
to
and
be
breathes
fair.
it.
He did
Yeah,
take
he
the
does. And
boost.
we've always said, like, we kind of hate his arrogance
We
on the track
appreciate his skill,
sometimes,
though.
but
We
we know
will-
he is a
yeah.
great driver. Sometimes off track he is actually quite funny,
Yeah.
and sometimes he gets likable, and then sometimes he doesn't redeem himself, and you're just like, oh yeah, there's the
I
old
liked
Max.
how much Jack brought in Martin Brundle as well about
Oh,
being
yeah.
James Bond.
Because we all love.
Yeah,
he's
everyone
just-
loves
he's
Martin.
great.
So yeah, it was all in all, my opinion is it was better than expected, but
True.
I don't think they need to do it every year.
No,
And I was still like, we were talking about this before we started. I am still confused with the concept because all the teams are still going to have their individual launch days. Like
Yeah.
Williams and Ferrari maybe have already gone, and I just don't understand the difference. Like, I know they had to, they couldn't release their new livery until that event.
so they didn't do that at the Williams event.
No,
They just had the car, not
think
the livery.
that's what because Williams were on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
So I think Williams launched the new car with the old livery because I think they weren't allowed to launch the new livery until after the event.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see what the other people do who have followed.
To follow,
I think
yeah.
because over the next few weeks they're all releasing their car, aren't they, and doing the
Yeah.
standard, PR events that we would expect. So as a fan, I'm still a bit confused. Like, was that a new car? Was that an old car? Is the livery going to change a lot?
Yeah,
Like,
the point was, it whether it was the car 2025 car or not, it wasn't the car of 2025. It's just the livery, isn't it? So I think some people said that it was the old car just with the new livery on, in a sense.
It just is a bit confused in my head, to be honest. And then why are all the teams doing separate launches as well?
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess we don't necessarily have to get into the weeds. The event itself was fun.
Yeah, I thought it was
enjoyed
very well organised. Like, in my head, I was thinking the execution and the planning. Like, even you said, because Jack Whitehall was going around interviewing drivers, and then the drivers would go on the stage, and then they'd be back in their suits, but then they'd be in the race suits. It's like the organisation of getting everyone there at the right time in the right place, and the cars up and down them.
It felt like it wasn't a live event. It felt pre-recorded how slick it was,
had,
but then it was still like, because I remember seeing Charles Leclerc sat down when he did the joke at the beginning, and then, well, I guess it was quite a while afterwards, but then he's in his suit and it's kind of like swip swap and all that kind of stuff. James Vowles had a joke about him, and then he's strutting down the stage and all that kind of stuff. So should we get into
so I think we should start with Steak, obviously. So I do think they had a hard job because they went first and no one knew what to expect. I think by a few launches in, we kind of knew they were going to have 7 minutes, and we knew what people had prepared, like pre-recorded videos. But from memory, I liked the drummers with the luminous drumsticks.
Yeah.
And I like the livery, I do, because it sticks out. I love a livery that's got a bright colour scheme. But it was just not that memorable. Like, did they have a video? I can't remember.
Yeah, so they did. So I remember all the video. Well, not all the videos, but I paid attention to the videos because they were the bits that drew me in. And some of the videos obviously had a lot more, what would you say, impact and depth to them, correct? Yeah, than others did. So Stakes didn't. And to me, it was the video, it was driving around on the track. It had like green gas coming out the wheels and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And it was basically, it looked like they were poisoning it as like it was going to be a werewolf or a vampire kind of theme.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
And it was going to it was like burning the midnight oil and all this kind of stuff. And it sounded like they were pitching it as if like the car was going to chase down the rest of the field and become some kind of,
missed.
But it was all very CGI. All of the CGI ones that had heavy CGI in it, I didn't like. Whereas like when we'll talk about them later, but like Williams, their one where it's just showing their pedigree of racing and all of the history. I'm like, that's a great montage. Whereas
that teams have the history.
No, they don't. So they've got to do what they can. But that's why, again, I would, if I was to rate Stakes video, it was pretty weak.
I think it was pretty low down the order for me. And I think that's just because they're not an overly popular team either.
No,
because
we were saying we didn't even know what Stake is.
Yeah, because they were Alfa Romeo, weren't they? And then they've rebranded, and then they're getting bought by Audi. Like, it's just a very confused team, in my opinion. Yeah. And I was a bit underwhelmed as well because the livery came out, and I think it has more black on, or it's like more
all black
faded,
at the back and then green,
And then I was just like, is this going to be what the whole event is? Just basically regurgitating the same liveries as last year.
Some did.
And some of them were, but some of them had noticeable differences. So I was a bit underwhelmed with Stake, and I think and I was also, some of the drivers, I think, got an opportunity to speak more to the interviewer. And I don't know if that's short. It was like one line each.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know if that's how they chose to like have their 7 minutes, or whether it was, right, you've got a 7-minute video / introduction of the car, and then you have a 1-line interview. I don't know. It seemed, I wish there would have been more of the drivers talking.
I think, you said, you talk about the colour of the livery, like to go to the livery, for me, it looks like an esports team, like a esports, like what Binotto was wearing looked like an esports jumper. Like she looked like a teenage kid that just walked out on stage. The bright green of their suits as well, the race suits, it's all right, but obviously I think Aston Martin green looks way better, kind of thing. That luminous green to me looks too Monster Energy kind of
electrical,
thing. Like a Formula E maybe or something like that. But it is nice. It stands out, and you're going to know when it's going around on the track that's Stake.
Yeah.
But obviously, if I was then again, its predecessors like Alfa Romeo, I would have liked their
It's interesting because, like, obviously VCarb are like a secondary team. When I first started watching F1, I thought Alfa Romeo was like a secondary team to Ferrari, because obviously the progression of the junior drivers like Charles Leclerc would go up to Ferrari. Now they're just not associated at all with Ferrari, and they've just completely rebranded, and that has it is a confused, but I think all in all, Stake was just
it was the same as their performance last year. Pretty weak.
Yeah, agreed.
Unfortunately.
And the next was Williams, which we need to take a moment to appreciate James Vowles. That strut and that catwalk, he was owning it. Like, he just has so much confidence, but like subtle confidence, because he doesn't look like a confident guy, but then as soon as he speaks, or that catwalk, I was so impressed, honestly. I was mesmerized.
I wonder if he's always been like that, charismatic, or he's had training or what, because he was by himself walking out like he was on a catwalk. holding that mic,
Like,
owning the
what's up,
stage.
O2?
Yeah.
I don't think he said that, but that's the energy I
But
wanted
like
to give.
it was so good. And I know we're going through the deliveries, but we should at the end go through all the other little things that were in between, you know, like Machine Gun Kelly and all that kind of stuff as well.
Oh yeah, we do definitely need
But
to
I
have
can't
a
remember
moment
the
to
order
take
then.
that.
We'll do them at the end, I
Yeah.
guess. But yeah, James Vowles killing it.
Yeah.
He was the car or so that was another thing on the stake, just to go back from the stake. It was a long video intro. You get 2 seconds with Nico and Bellotti. I don't know how you say his name.
Belletto, I think, but don't quote me on that.
And then the car, then we thought it was done, and then the car went back up for like the 2 minutes.
And it was just stood there.
And we were like, oh my God, is this ever going to end?
Ever going to end.
But then when the Williams one started, obviously Jack Whitehall or whoever did a bit, and then it started with the Williams car.
It was already there.
I think already there. I don't know if it was up or down.
It wasn't the whole way up.
But it then then the shroud got lifted and it was there, and then James Vowles walked and strutted on, didn't he?
I think Williams, so I'm really excited about Williams next year. I think Carlos Sainz is the greatest signing they could have ever got. And I think Alex is obviously a great, like, firm driver for them. In terms of the livery, I know they've got a naming partner now.
Yeah.
Atlassian? Atlassian.
Yeah.
No one's ever heard of Atlassian. We had to Google
That's
it.
going to be so funny with you going through this.
What?
Saying half the words that you say.
I know. But like,
Pronunciations.
I appreciate as well that that livery was full of sponsors. Like, James Vowles has got to work bringing that money in. Like, they are not a team that are struggling financially anymore. No way in hell. Excuse me. Even Santander, they've moved from Ferrari to Williams because of Carlos. Like, that is an insane sponsor. And I'd get, like, you know, like Aston Martin, Armaco, Petronas with Mercedes.
Is it Aramco or Armaco?
I don't know.
These pronunciations
and
are going to get
then
me.
That car, like the livery, I was just a bit like meh, because all I saw on the livery was these sponsors, and I don't feel like
for the Williams one.
Yeah, for the Williams. I don't feel like that car says Williams anymore. Like, I could not see a Williams, and I'm a bit sad about that, because the whole, like, fan base behind Williams is the heritage and the people who saw their success in the 80s and 90s, and Frank Williams and the family brand, which I get why they've had to bring Atlassian in.
Atlassian, yeah.
But I just wanted a bit more Williams. I like the Gulf sponsor. We said we like
both
that on the
like
kit.
that.
And I really love how charismatic Carlos and Alex are. I think they're going to bring a whole new younger fan base in, because people are obsessed with them.
I'm so glad Alex is still there.
Yeah.
I'm so glad they didn't ship him off, because I like Alex. He's not, he had his moments and his
It'll be interesting to see how Alex performs alongside Carlos, because Carlos is so good.
I'm hoping they both bring each other up, kind of thing, because there was races last year and the years before where Alex can really perform, and then I don't know if it's him or the car or confidence or whatever, but sometimes then he just doesn't seem to exist.
Alex got his moment when his teammates have been so shit.
Yeah.
And then when Colapinto came in, it was a bit like, is he as good as we think? Because there's someone who is jumped straight into a car and is getting the same points.
Where's he now?
Alpine. We'll get onto that, yeah.
Is he?
Alpine's reserve driver. He's gunning for Jack.
Yeah, but he's not driving then, is he?
No. But he's gunning for Jack.
You thinking they're going to swap?
Mid-season swap straight away. Anyway, we can talk about that
if he
next
doesn't do
time.
it.
We can talk about that next time. But yeah, in terms of the livery, I thought it was pretty underwhelming. I think the reason I liked Williams was because of their heritage video, going through the history of it and seeing all the old like shots from the 90s. And I love James, Alex, and Carlos as a team. I think very personable.
Liveries, the livery's all right, but no Williams, like you say. I like the blue. Always like the blue of the Williams. James Vowles is great. The drivers are great. The team kit was quite nice as well. I like I think it was blue and white, and where the white was, there was the Gulf logo. So overall, all right, better than Stakes. And talking of sponsors, Stake had none.
Yeah,
Stake just had Stake, and that was it.
And then like two other companies.
Yeah, which I can't remember.
Empty. They've got no money.
They're screwed.
They are. Yeah, they are. And then so I think next is V-Carb.
Is it V-Carb?
AlphaTauri. What the fuck do you call them? No one knows anymore. I was speaking to your granddad earlier, and I don't know if I heard him right, but he just said we call them WhatsApp. We just
WhatsApp?
Yeah, I'm sure he said that. We just don't know.
It's Cash App. It's not even WhatsApp.
Yeah, exactly. We was like, we just don't know what to call them anymore. And,
it's green and it sends an app.
I like how their intro video with, oh my God, I'm not even going to try and.
I can't remember his
name.
Mo? Is it Mo or something?
No. Munya Chihuahua?
Chihuahua?
Yeah.
Chihuahua.
We could have heard of those. So Oh, that's so embarrassing. Munya Chihuahua, I think.
I don't know, but they
But
did
anyway,
him dirty in the video.
they were leaning into the fact that no one knows
Knows
what
them,
the hell they're called.
Yeah.
But I think it's Visa, Cash App, Racing, Bulls.
Bulls, yeah.
And I think they were my favourite livery of the night. I loved the horses, the prancing bulls. Horses?
Bulls. It's not Ferrari.
No, we'll get to that. I loved that, and I loved the Red Bull homage in the back as well. And I loved the white because I think that'll really stand out.
Yeah, the white is cool. I think, the video with Chihuahua.
Don't say that. That is so bad.
I don't know what his name is.
God.
That with him. They did him dirty with he made a joke of himself of his forehead, but like the bottom down angle, I kept saying it when we were watching it, like they did him dirty with the angle.
He's a funny
Clearly,
guy.
He did some good jokes, but then we got annoyed, didn't we, when he was who was trying to talk. And
Isaac.
and then you just like completely cut him off halfway through. And we're like, what?
I think the intro video like played on the fact that no one knows what the hell they're called, but it went on too long and it didn't really have any substance. And then we like the Yuki jokes, the hinge joke, the short and sweet bio.
You got a lot of running to do or something like that.
Hurry up. That was funny, but I don't know if Yuki appreciated it.
Short and sweet, just like your hinge profile or something like that.
But he was a really bad interviewer because again, going back, like I want to hear more from the drivers. We've not heard from them in like 2 months now. Like we want to know what they're up to, what they're feeling like ahead of the year. And I'm sure it's Isaac Hajar.
Again,
he literally asked him a question about, and then he was like, "Oh, it's going in the group chat," and he was like, "Yeah, I like the photo," and then like cut him off mid sentence.
But that
was so rude.
It was pretty rude. Whether he was just like Chihuahua was nervous himself and was like, "I've got to keep the time."
Stop calling him that. We're going to get cancelled before we've even got
started. It's not cancelled. I just can't remember his name. Visa WhatsApp Racing Bulls.
We're just going to call him WhatsApp now. That is it.
But yeah, car was great. I think their kit was nice too.
Yeah.
I don't know if it changed all that much from last year, maybe because it's kind of same colours with AlphaTauri.
Well,
isn't it,
a lot of them are like largely the same.
God, who's their principal?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Did they have a principal? Did they have a CEO?
They had two people
I think they had CEO and then some other dude.
Yeah, I can't remember. I don't know.
And they were that was the other thing as well. They were talking about we're going to start doing some off season, not off season, or like out of the race events.
Yeah.
Like we're going to do music. We're going to do it. And I was just like,
I don't get it.
Don't care. Cars. So yeah, that was
best livery. Weird.
We love Yuki.
Yeah.
Rest
Isaac,
of it,
we don't really know him because he got 2 words in.
The rest of it, we can just.
I think it's Isaac. We should have checked that before we started.
I don't know.
I think
it's Hajar or something like that. But we'll let's see what they can bring this year. Hopefully, it's going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
It'll be nice watching that car go around the track. It's very easy to see.
Noticeable. That's what we want from
colour.
livery. And then next is
what
Haas.
was next? Haas. Do you know what? I actually can't remember what the livery looks like. Is it the same as last year?
It's the same.
Right. I mean, I liked last year's.
Boring.
It's black and white and red.
Mm.
I do quite like it.
I can't even remember that video.
They had Kane come on and sing.
Who?
Kane something, the mixed race guy.
He was just the entertainment, I thought.
Yeah, but no, he was singing, but then I think he was also in the video.
Oh.
And they were talking about, I think it was all like American themed.
Do you know what I found weird about their video? They showed Roman Grosjean's crash. And I was like, why do you want to celebrate when your car fucked up and nearly killed someone?
But maybe there was a bit in there to say about
how
about
Gene Haas and the first American team and how great he's done in the last 10 years.
They might have been talking about how they've overcome difficulties and stuff like that.
A good backstory. I think Haas, I really like the lineup at Haas. I really like Ollie Behrman. I think he's a really great talent and he's going to be formidable in the years to come. British, young talent, great.
Bias.
Esty Bestie. Yep. I was a bit like, why has he got a seat? Why is he in Haas? Yeah. But do you know what? I think together they're going to be a good team.
Hopefully.
Yeah. I really like what, again, I'm not going to murder the guy's name.
Which one?
Komatsu?
Yeah. Komatsu. I think it's Komatsu.
Yeah. I really like what he's doing. I really like that they've got like the first female race engineer.
Didn't know about that.
Really, really like what Haas stand for. Really like the pairings. I just hope it doesn't sour with Esteban Ocon like it has with previous teams.
Doesn't just come in and screw up like this kind of thing as well.
But all in all, I think Haas was like pretty mediocre.
Yeah.
Like not overly memorable, not overly different.
I mean, Haas car was again, it kind of does well, and then it sometimes it just completely drops off, doesn't
yeah.
it? So I'm hoping Ollie. I mean, he got a point last year where some of the drivers didn't even get a point, and they were driving the whole season. So, like,
didn't he get most of his points because of the Ferrari drive in?
Yeah, but Ollie Behrman wasn't even on the grid,
Yeah.
and when they showed every time, like, what are the standings, he had points, and I think Bottas had none.
Yeah, Bottas was the bottom of the bottom.
And I was just like, oh my god! Like,
side note, I actually really like Bottas, and I'm glad he's back at Mercedes, and I really found Jack Whitehall's Tiger King joke about him really funny.
But he's got his own brand now, hasn't he? In terms
Bottas
of his own personal brand, he can probably live and survive completely fine and have a great old life. Probably still wants to race and all that kind of stuff, but he does a lot of cycling. I'm sure he still gets his kicks. But yeah, in terms of the overall of the Haas team, hopefully they do good this year.
Yeah.
I do kind of sometimes. They're always in my fantasy league at some point somewhere.
Yeah,
because they're cheap and cheerful. They sometimes come out, but then sometimes they both crash into each other, and then they screw you over minus 40 points.
Yeah, but that's because Kevin's not there anymore, so that might not be as problematic. I feel like Hulk was a solid option last year.
Yeah, Hulkenberg's at stake.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then next is Alpine. They were my second favourite livery of the night because I love how they've had more blue, more pink, less white.
Yeah.
I think with Jack Doohan and Gasly, I think that's another interesting lineup. However, their like intro thing was my second worst of the night.
Which one was that one
just
again?
A weird DJ just going on and on and on and on. And I've actually seen a few people on TikTok be like, everyone in
what the heck is this?
It was apparently like so loud, it was like deafening and giving people like ear issues because this DJ was like on for far too long and far too loud. Yeah. So I was just, after like 5 minutes, I was just like, well, what is going on? Yeah. This is weird.
It was almost like a lot of them got told this and like ages ago, too busy was doing stuff with their cars and other stuff, and then did the homework last minute and was like, oh shit, let's just book a DJ, that'll do.
Who even was the DJ?
No, but I mean, that, again, there was people on there that probably most of us, like, I don't know who the Kane guy was, but he was pretty good.
Are you
but
sure
clearly
the
DJ, I think his name was Kane with a K.
I think so. I don't know, but anyway, so the livery, I thought I like liveries that stand out on track. That's definitely going to stand out. I think it was okay, probably middle of the pack, like the team, to be honest.
Yeah. Who's the drivers again?
Jack Doohan, Pierre Gasly, and Colapinto's hot on Jack Doohan's heels.
Yes. Okay.
Colapinto
we'll
is Alpine now. So Colapinto has more followers on Instagram than Alpine. Like, he is going to bring so much popularity. I'm really surprised that Williams have let him go, to be honest, because I thought he would take over Carlos on Alex or whoever left first.
I don't know. He didn't. I don't think he was fully there at the end of the season, was he?
He had bad luck. He had a series of unfortunate events.
But obviously they've based it off that, and Carlos.
I saw his first race in Monza, and
Carlos brings a lot, doesn't he? And Albon, they've probably got a lot of loyalty to him.
Brings a lot as well. He's the only South American driver. But so I think that trio is really interesting, and I hope Alpine get their shit together, because I think last year there was a lot of politics, because obviously they let Esteban leave one race before the end of the year, which was really uncool. They had they've had a lot of issues over a lot of years. So I think hopefully they're finishing a really good place.
The car does sometimes pretty well.
At the start of the season last year, though, it was terrible.
Yeah. But it gets back.
Yeah, I think now at Esteban and Pierre, like that, it worked for a bit, but really didn't work towards the end. So I think watch them. They're definitely a team to watch. Yeah,
hopefully do something good.
And then next was Aston Martin. So where do we start with Aston Martin?
The intro video was Marmite, I think.
Some people
loved it because it's James Bond, and some people, didn't like it a lot because, one, it was riding off the James Bond theme tune. Again, there was a lot of CGI in this first pit, like where they're both wearing the F1 helmets, but they're in boats. Why are they in boats?
It was weird.
Why are they not in cars?
It
James Bond like cars.
The London 2012 opening ceremony, you know, where James Bond like came through the roof in the Olympics. It was a bit.
I can't remember.
I appreciated them going after the James Bond theme,
but why boats?
And then
it should have been cars.
They were just stood there in the helmets, and it was a bit weird. And then clearly Lance Stroll does not want to be there ever.
No. He walks around like
a face like a slapped arse.
Well, he walks around as if like again, he knows he owns the place.
He's like Max Verstappen 2.0.
Like,
he does not want to be there.
Alonso's there with the aura, smiling at the crowd.
Alonso
doing
single-handedly carries that team.
Stroll's just like, yeah, I'm so happy to be here, guys. I'm like, God,
Come
you can give a bit of
need
effort.
some energy.
It might be because he obviously knows he's not a favourite compared to Alonso.
Yeah.
But again, like, come on,
I think Aston Martin, James Bond Heritage was great. I think Thames.
You liked it.
I really liked Thames as well.
The James Bond Heritage.
I didn't like the boats.
Video.
I didn't like the video and the CGI. It was a bit
They did a
off.
second video though, where it was an animated video of. There was animated parts. I liked that video. The James Bond video didn't like the animated video because then it went through like bits of. I don't know the background to it, but obviously there's a guy in one of the first cars. I think it was some hill climb or something like that. Then it went into like bits of Le Mans. Again, an animated version of their racing heritage.
Yeah.
And then it went into like the last car, like the most recent cars, the Vanquish, the Valkyrie, and the Formula One car. So I was like, that's a really good video. They should have led with that.
Yeah.
And then done the James Bond one, but not with the high amps James Bond theme. A more subtle, play it like
Cool.
like suave and cool with Alonso, because Alonso could probably give that
Dress
aura.
to the nines.
Put Lance Stroll in a suit, he could probably judge him up a bit.
Yeah.
And then have a more of a subtle James Bond song, and then have Thames coming out in her song, because it was like James Bond crazy,
and then
Thames. Like calm down, and then calm down even more to Thames. So
I mean,
it was
Thames
a weird.
Is great. We love her. We loved she was great. She was really. I liked that segment of it, but it was just a bit weird and disjointed.
Yeah, it was. It was.
I think Aston Martin. It'll be really interesting what happens with them over the next few years, because obviously what Lawrence Stroll has done is like he's built that base at Silverstone up, like. Their factory is like quadrupled in size, if not more. And obviously there's been a lot of rumours over the winter break about Max Verstappen potentially going there in a few years on like $1 billion contract. And I think with Adrian Newey going,
do you think they're going to do well this year, or put all their effort into next year? Yeah,
because I think if Max is going to go, it might be next year. That's my crazy prediction, but we can talk more about that next time.
Yeah,
but
true.
I think Aston Martin, I think they were lucky to finish where they did this year, because they had one driver team with Alonso. But I think with the investment that Lawrence Stroll's drummed up, and a potential of Max Verstappen going, and Adrian Newey, I think they're playing the long game, and they will definitely ramp up.
I guess we'll find out, won't we?
Yeah. So who's next? Oh, Mercedes. So same. Yeah. The most interesting part of that whole thing was seeing Kimi. He was like, he was so nervous. Bless him.
When he first walked out, he was like, he didn't show it too much, but like you could just see, like, he was like, oh my God, what is going on? And then he spoke, and he spoke well, but still you could just see like the
nervous.
I bet his heart was going dush.
So much for the rookies doing that. But Mercedes, they've just lost their star quality, in my opinion, since Lewis.
Lost Lewis.
I love Toto and George. I like, but the livery as well was just same. Like, was there anything different? I think they lost the red.
So, what was it last year? Was it more the Silver Arrows last year? Or was it still the Batman one?
I think it was
can't
more
remember.
silver last year.
Was it?
Yeah.
I really liked the Batman black one.
Yeah.
Which obviously
Lewis
had a lot of input too.
Yeah.
The all black, I think that looked sweet. I do like the silver one too. Now is it a bit half and halfy? I think half black, half silver kind of thing.
I think it was just a bit boring.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a theme between a lot of them, isn't there? Where it's kind of same. The only one that's made like a bit. The big difference was V-carb, wasn't it? So, but I can't. What was their intro? Can't even remember.
Exactly,
to be honest.
Me neither. I can't.
Their walk on. Don't even remember what their walk on was.
The all three came out together.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I do find what is interesting with Mercedes at the moment is their main sponsor's gone from Tommy Hilfiger to Adidas. Yeah. And seeing George dressed more of a roadman is just going to be hilarious. He does like Adidas, like he was wearing Sambas. It was that's quite funny because he's obviously like old money style, isn't he?
Yeah.
But I don't know how Mercedes are going to fare this year. I don't think that good, to be honest.
I don't either. They might surprise us, but there's going to be pressure on George to perform. Yeah. He can perform. He does perform, but there's going to be him to be the pivotal driver. We'll see how Tagliatelle does. What's his name?
Tagliatelle.
Antonelli?
Tagliatelle.
Antonelli.
Kimi.
Antonelli. Antonelli. Antoinelli.
Something like that.
Is he French?
Not
Is he Italian?
He's Italian. That's why he came out at Monza and everyone went mad because it was like Toto's just pulled a badass move.
Right, yeah.
Signing an Italian rookie.
Yeah. Okay.
And he crashed, didn't he? Because he crashed George's car at Monza. I was there. I saw it. Anyway, it's not Tagliatelle. It's Kimi Antonelli.
Kimi Antonelli. We could make some like football chant about him. Kimi Antonelli likes his Tagliatelle. But yeah, again, not very memorable. It's because not much changed. I honestly, their intro might have been good, but I don't think if I've not remembered it, it's not fair to the others. No. So,
well, I think the most memorable one of the night, for all the wrong reasons,
is the next one.
Red Bull.
It was just so weird.
That? Like, what?
Paired with Max.
I think Liam Lawson could have carried it, to be honest, because he is giving Riz, like he is giving, like with the spiky hair and the cool dude, like New Zealand vibe, he is giving like what they need to save their PR image. Yeah. But the whole like racing through London with like all the like old Hondas and stuff. Yeah. It was they were trying to rip off the Lewis Hamilton Tokyo Drift video, in my opinion. Yeah. That's kind of the energy they were going for. Yeah. And then at the end, when they all came out, like Max was so awkward. He was just like, I don't want to be there. But then also with all the people jumping on the stage, it was reminding me, you wouldn't have seen this, but it literally reminded me of Charlie XCX's Grammys performance, where she was just like doing this on stage. And it was just, and everyone was in the audience like, what's going on? It was, and then the drivers didn't speak either, which I know that's because Max like would have no doubt completely refused to get involved. Yeah. But come on, like, and the boos for Christine Horner, like, oh my god, that's not surprising, but
he dresses like a villain. He talks like a villain. You said he looked like Dracula. Yeah, he did. No, Helmut Marko looks like Dracula.
Yeah, he does look like
Dracula. He was in the background like this. I will stay alive for 100 more years. But I think, Horner obviously got away with whatever the scandal was. I don't think he's going to be the death of Red Bull.
Once they lose Max, it's over. It's over, which is imminent in my opinion, because Helmut does not.
Things go in cycles, don't they? Things go in cycles.
Yeah, they're coming towards the end of their life cycle at the moment. But and the car livery was exactly the same. It's exactly the same as what it's been like for the last 10 years.
It's copy paste every time.
Boring.
It would have been nice, but then again, because I guess they weren't the top. Well, I wonder if they were the top constructors championship last year. Could they have done a bold statement by doing a bold livery? But I just don't think they ever would.
But honestly, it was the most bizarre thing. I literally was like, this is cringe. I need to turn it off.
It was cringe when they were dancing. And then like there was a bit where like I think I saw someone do a reel about it. Someone tapping Max on the shoulder or something like when they're dancing. Yeah, you're like, come on. And he just looked round and he almost like gave him a death. Don't touch me. But it was awkward and basically 1 out of 10 I'd give it.
-1 out of 10.
It was just boring. Boring and dead.
I mean, obviously Red Bull are not my favourite team.
No.
But credit where credit's due, and no credit is due there. Like, it was just not it. But next is the main event of the night for me. And a lot of people who got the loudest cheers. Everyone, and I'm talking about everyone in the world, tuned in to that event to see Lewis Hamilton in red.
Yes. Yeah.
With their own eyeballs.
Yeah. Well, apart from all the Max fans, they didn't. They turned in for Max. Yeah, but it was in England.
Anyway,
Lewis
Hamilton
bias.
in red for the first time.
Well,
oh my God. In like live stream, not in like a picture form. Yeah. I thought it's perfect. Him, Fred, and Charles.
Yep.
Is the perfect duo. It's like, I really hope that car's good. I've seen like timings of the testing at Maranello where Charles is quicker than last year already, so that's good. And mumblings about the car. I think Lewis is going to do better than he did at Mercedes this year, but I don't think he's going to necessarily be fighting for wins straight away because he needs to still get used to the car.
I think he will.
Do you?
I think he'll go out.
He's got his fire back, hasn't he? His energy and his aura shift is so like
he's
noticeably
just at
different.
Mercedes. He was just so like doom and gloom.
Everyone was starting to write him off as well, and that was really pissing
I mean,
me
I was
off.
writing him off,
No,
to be honest.
No,
Because I wasn't writing him off because of him. I was
his
writing him off
attitude
because of the car.
and his attitude.
Well, yeah, and it's not like there was points where you could like he was throwing his dummy out, and like obviously it's frustrating.
And the team weren't listening to him.
But Lewis doesn't historically get like that. He's always calm, collected, and you could see he was like beginning to get the point where like this is either annoying and frustrating him, or he's actually getting in his own head about stuff, as if like I'm not going to be able to perform. It may be a mixture of all of it, but yeah, the smile on his face, the glow that he's got when he's in that team.
That red.
Fred loves him.
Yeah, Charles is, I think, impartial, to be honest.
Yeah.
Charles is
he's like, oh, God. But he's still got his own fan base.
Yeah.
He'll still have all the Tifosi behind him and all that kind of stuff.
The Tifosi energy is like second to none. But
then Tifosi still love Lewis kind of as well.
Lewis is in there. So, I think that was the standout moment for me. The cheers he got, like, he just felt like he was at home. And I loved that. And I loved the intro video with all the history and the like drawing of the progressions of the car. I think we also need to also shout out to the coldest picture to be ever posted on Instagram ever, with Lewis outside Enzo Ferrari's house.
It's the most liked
Instagram
F1 base photo ever.
Oh my God, cinema, absolute cinema.
But
yeah, I think.
And then it was Jack Whitehall's version of it wasn't as good.
What do you mean?
Do you know do you not see it when there was a bit where he was on the mic? And do you not notice he had the big overcoat? He dressed like...
No, I didn't
notice
you didn't notice that.
Oh, he was
trying to.
He was basically doing it. Yeah. Trying to look like a mafia boss, but
no, I think in terms of the livery, I don't love it, to be honest. The HP,
the red's changed, hasn't it?
The red, and the white at the back with the HP. I think what they've done is they've changed the white to try and put a white strip on to try and blend out the HP to not make it stand, but instead it just stands out even more. Like we said yesterday, the amount of money that HP have paid
must have paid to get on that.
Like, I cannot wait to get Lewis Hamilton merch, but the merch is just ruined because the Ferrari logo is smaller.
Big, horrible
than the
HP. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'll probably still buy it, but it's the HP is just offensive. Like, I have to stare at HP at work every day. I don't want to look at that when I'm watching an F1 race.
That is true. Is true.
And
it is ugly. But
I don't love the livery, but
the livery is not. Yeah, it's not great this year. But the overall team setup, the drivers, what the car's going to probably be like this year,
the buzz around them, the energy.
And to be honest, it is part of the reason why we've started the podcast is because we realised that this could be a monumental year where someone could break the record and get their 8th World Championship.
It's history, isn't it?
Untechnically 9th, because we could still argue that he's already got 8.
No British bias, Kyle.
No British bias, but
yeah,
still.
I think Ferrari were up there just because of their whole 7 minutes collectively, and then their lineup is the best lineup in my opinion. But the livery is probably
bit dead,
average to top for me.
Yeah.
And then because I got so excited watching Lewis, I kind of forgot about Lando and Oscar. I feel like they went on a historic angle as well. Yeah,
because they've got it all. Yeah.
And I like that they had the different cars on the, to show physically the progression of the car to the modern day world championship winning car. I think McLaren, aside from Lewis and Charles, McLaren have the strongest pairing on the grid because both Oscar and Lando could be championship winners next year. I think Lando will do it over Oscar. Again, we'll talk about this on the next episode, but I think they're both incredible drivers.
I'm going to put my money...
We don't need to get into it.
I know, but I want to put my money on Lewis. Just because I want him to get 8.
I love Lewis, but I'm not going to do that.
You're not going to do that?
This year, no.
Yeah, but the Ferrari's good.
Anyway, we'll talk about them.
We don't
next
know
time.
anyway.
But the McLaren, again, though, same
Papaya.
as Red Bull, same as Mercedes, boring, copy and paste. They've not really changed up. At least Ferrari have changed up a little bit with the white.
Has it still got Google Chrome on it?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
I don't
We've
think
done
so.
We should have had printouts for this.
Yeah, we should.
Because my brain.
We should have revised everyone's names
of
how to say them.
Chihuahua. Tagliatelle.
What's up?
But it is what it is, isn't it?
But yeah, overall, I thought it was a really good way to get everyone hyped for the season. So we've got testing next week, I think.
Yep.
It's on the 26th to the 28th.
Yep.
And then, so we're going to do an episode to review testing. our predictions for the year ahead, talk about the F1 Fantasy.
Yep.
And Drive to Survive comes out.
Yep. So
not
we
next
can
week,
give
the
our
week
thoughts
after,
on that.
so we can look at that. And then we're into Melbourne, straight to it. It's going to be pretty jam-packed now.
It's going to be a very busy year.
Yeah, lots to talk about. Hopefully lots of drama, lots of beefs. That's
Beefs. Yeah, so you do all the drama and the gossip. You can bring that every episode.
It's fine by me.
I'll just pretend like I know stuff. And hopefully you can enjoy us on this little journey.
And we don't actually agree on everything all the time, do we? So
we don't what?
We don't agree on everything all the time.
Oh, no.
And I'm going to try my best to be impartial.
Why?
I don't want this to be I Love Lewis Hamilton podcast.
But if you do, don't you? And she does. So, I mean, look what she's wearing. But yeah.
It's only because we didn't get one of those that fit me.
Yeah, but no, you pre-planned wearing that. You was like,
I've got
which Lewis Hamilton piece of
t-shirt
do I wear?
And I can't wait to get some Ferrari merch actually, but it's all on bloody pre-order. We're not going to get it till like May.
Yeah.
I also like the Lando merch. I will buy Lando merch because I like this is completely off topic now, but out of every, like this is obviously a +44 t-shirt, which is Lewis's brand. Out of all the drivers' merch, Lando's is my favourite after Lewis's.
I'm going to get some George Russell Adidas.
And then, no, don't do that.
Shell suit.
No, don't do that. And then I think, who else has good merch? Daniel Ricciardo had really good merch with Ashante.
I have no clue about this stuff. It's all
going
right over my
head. I need to educate you. But yeah, anyway, I think that wraps up the first episode.
Wraps up the livery. Thanks everyone for listening.
Not to be confused with Drive to Survive. No.
That's Voldemort.
No.
It's Voldemort on this podcast. No. But yeah, Drive to Thrive podcast. Please subscribe. Please press the bell, notifications, all that good stuff. Hopefully you can tune in for the next one. Like I said, we're going to review
lots of exciting things to come this year.
Pre-season testing and give our predictions in the next episode. Yeah. So hope to see you all soon. Thanks for listening and thank you very much.